How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. You guys can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Cardano. Yes, you've heard that correct. Market is booming right now. Bitcoin is absolutely sending. What's really happening with altcoins, specifically Cardano? We're going to talk about that. And again, if you want to see more of these ADA updates, I want you guys to go crazy with the likes and, of course, hit that subscribe button and also comment down below because, of course, this helps the channel a lot. So if you're looking across the board right now, we're seeing a lot of green. Again, shouldn't really be surprised because, of course, Bitcoin is absolutely skyrocketing. ADA up 3% right now with the price currently sitting at 78.64 cents, almost 80 cents for ADA. Also up about 0.3% in Bitcoin comparative, which is quite impressive in my opinion because a lot of projects right now are actually down in Bitcoin comparative, even though this is nothing crazy, but the fact that it is up in Bitcoin comparative is something I'm not ignoring by any means. Valuation $28.3 billion in the 24-hour trading volume at about $1.1 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer for you guys. Anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So, Bitcoin dominance. You guys know by now, it's not a Crypto ZX update unless we don't discuss the dominance. And here we have it, guys. Dominance is having a little bit of a hard time breaking out of the 64.31%, obviously due to significant resistance around that range. But right now, to be quite frank with you, even though we have seen a little bit of a retracement for the dominance over the last few hours, this is not anything to be getting excited about because, of course, we're still in this upward trend for the dominance. And, with the way Bitcoin is looking, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do start retesting up to the 64.66% after we break out of this range. So, the overall market is looking amazing right now. Even altcoins are, rallying with Bitcoin momentum, but we need to understand how the dominance works because right now, let's pretty much put this into perspective. 64.19% of the 3.7 or $3.8 trillion of the valuation of the entire market, 64.2% of that is solely in Bitcoin alone, and the rest is in altcoins. So let that sink in. That is not a small number by any means. So I think we could see dominance continue to pick up, but altcoins, as far as altcoins heating up is concerned, I do expect that to happen once Bitcoin kind of cools off, kind of settles down. Bitcoin right now is in pretty much price discovery mode. We actually went up to 112,000 almost a few hours back. It's obviously crazy to see it here, but as a OG, obviously I'm not an OG in terms of 2010 or 2011, but I did come into the market in 2016, almost 10 years ago, guys. And looking at Bitcoin sitting at these levels is just something mind-boggling. I swear it's so hard to explain what this feels like, the fact that Bitcoin is sitting at these levels. So we're in a bull market, believe it or not. Yes, altcoins are not at the level where you want to see them, but altcoin season is nowhere near starting. I don't care what people say. Yes, Ethereum has seen uptick. Ethereum has showing strength. It was pretty much going insanely down over the course of the last few months. So of course, there was going to come a time where you do see ETH started to make its way towards the upside. Yes, ETH is seen as big tool in terms of an altcoin rally, which I understand. I totally agree with that as well. But right now, dominance is your best friend to talk about, an altcoin season. So great stuff overall, though. But let's take a look at, what's happening with ADA. I've shared this with you guys in the past. I personally believe that, Cardano has really showed its strength this time around, even though we are in the 78.6, but I believe it has held its ground much better than what a lot of people think. Because if you want to put this into perspective, we're only a 70% move for us to retest a yearly high. So a yearly high and our last year's high, which was of course at $1.34. This is where excitement obviously comes in. This is where retail comes in. There's no question about that. Right now, there's a very small percentage of retail investors right now that are still showing interest to crypto. But now as Bitcoin is headlining everywhere, do expect moon boys to be seen everywhere. And that's the phase that we're entering right now for the crypto markets. But beautiful upside for ADA. If you want to put this into perspective from the April 7th low, you can see we're up 53.7% for ADA. ADA is trying to break towards the upside, but look where we are. Look where we are. We've spoken about these levels. If you were a regular viewer on my channel, this isn't something new. There's significant resistance around this range. If this is able to break out, I think we are going to be sitting at 86 cents quite fast for Cardano, and after that the main resistance at dollar psychological price point, and after that pretty much the rest is history. Obviously we're still early in terms of what happens with these US based projects. Of course, we heard massive rumors Q4 of last year when Donald Trump got elected that we're going to see these US based company and US based blockchain coins just completely being exempt from capital gains tax. Obviously at the end of the day, nothing is confirmed, still up in the air. It does make sense, of course, because this technology is still quite new. That would be quite something, and if that does get announced, I think we just see a most parabolic move for the crypto markets if that were to be announced. But as of now, I'm really impressed the way ADA is holding, much better than a lot of people expect. One step at a time. Let me know down below what you guys think. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.